Perfect.
Good morning, everyone. We starting early today. We'd like to welcome everybody to the Care South Carolina Community Live Podcast. I am one of your hosts, Mark Calhoun. I am the Director of Social and Community Service for Care South Carolina. My partner in crime.
Yeah, I'm going to make my voice a little deep this morning because I was told my voice was too light on the last one. Hi, I'm Daniel Myers. I'm the MATSUD Program Director. Glad to see everybody back this morning. Yeah.
All right. So we got a special guest in the building today. Well, literally not in the building, but on the show. Uh, we want to welcome Ashley Singleton. She is the chief of pharmacy. Well, let me be quiet. Let me let you introduce yourself and tell the folks a little bit about yourself, Ashley.
Hey, everybody. My name's Ashley Singleton. I'm the Chief of Pharmacy for Care South Carolina. I've been in this position now, I think, going on 3 years. And I would have to say that I absolutely love it and glad that I had the opportunity to become a employee at Care South and experience this journey because it has been completely rewarding. So.
Wow. Yeah. We feel the same way.
Yes, we do. Glad to have you. Yeah.
Thank you.
So, Ashley, tell us a little bit about the pharmacy. It's been a journey. We've been celebrating many milestones. Just could you start out by just giving us a little tidbit about the pharmacy, um, how it got started, when it got started, and just talk about some of the locations where we're located.
Okay. So we opened up our first pharmacy location in Hartsville in 2008 and we're delivering prescriptions to all of our medical locations outside of that one pharmacy. And as it grew and we needed more access for our patients to have to affordable medications, we decided to branch out and we opened up 3 locations in 1 year in 2016. And those locations were Bishopville, Latta, and Bennettsville. Then in 2017, we opened up our 5th location, and that was in Sherrall. Grew again in 2018 and opened up a location in Society Hill. And once again in 2020, here we grow again, opening up our location in McCall, and there should be 2 more locations down the pipeline, opening up in Chesterfield and in Dillon. So right now we just have our 7 pharmacy locations, and from the very beginning, I think we started out filling maybe 30 prescriptions a day, and it has grown, and now we fill anywhere from 26 to 28,000 prescriptions a month for these patients. So, we've come a long way from when we started in 2008 to now in 2020.
So there was something significant that happened over at Hartsville recently.
Correct. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
So when we opened, we were located in the medical site, and as we grew, we kind of outgrew the space and needed a change. So we have now opened a new location right outside of the medical center on the same property as them. And so this is now where the Hartsville Pharmacy is located. No longer inside the medical building, but off to the side of the Hartsville Medical site in its own freestanding pharmacy.
And you also have drive-through to make as a convenience to patients, right?
Yes, we do offer drive-through services. And
so how many of our sites have drive-throughs?
We have that in Hartsville, Bishopville, and McCall.
Okay. That's pretty good.
Yeah, it does offer an added avenue in case it's raining or whatnot. And if patients just have mobility issues, it kind of gives them another access point to be able to get their medications.
And and we want our patients and our community to understand that our pharmacies are busy. So sometimes if it take a little bit longer, it's because we're trying to make sure that you have quality service, that we have everything right for you. You have all your prescriptions in the box, and you have your directions in the box on how to use it. And then, we just want to make sure everything is good. So just be patient with us, and we want to make sure that you get the best quality care when it comes to our pharmacy, what our pharmacy needs.
Yes,
So,
that's
yeah.
correct. Sometimes it may seem like what could happen in 10 minutes might take us 20 or 30, but that's because we are making sure that every single prescription we get in from our providers meets the 340B needs so that we can get you the best price possible and the most affordable medication.
Right, from the way I understand it, you have prescriptions coming in from the providers, you have prescriptions coming in from phone calls, and you also have patients bring prescriptions to the counter. And so all those prescriptions have to be taken care of in the order that they were brought in. So it's not like we're trying to overlook you, but we have to do things in an order and a set way of doing things the way it appears, right?
Correct. Yeah, we try to make sure we get everybody in the order in which we receive the prescriptions. So whether it's a drop off or a call in or coming through electronically from the providers, or if the patients have punched in numbers through our automated system, we do try to keep everything in order so that no one person gets ahead of another, in the line of everything.
Right.
But I do want to mention, on top of filling prescriptions for CareSouth providers, we're also open doors, so we fill for anybody. You don't just have to be a patient at CareSouth. Anybody can access any of our locations, and we can fill prescriptions for you as well.
All right.
Wow. Yeah, that's wonderful. And you touched on something that I wanted to ask you about. I don't know if you expanded on that, but you mentioned 340B.
Mm-hmm.
Could you tell us what 340B is?
I sure can. So 340B was a program developed several years ago, and it aligns with our capabilities it aligns with our capabilities to be able to offer affordable medications to patients. But we have access to those drugs from the wholesalers and manufacturers at a discounted price, so that we are able to help those in need who might have, copay issues or just funds in general. So because we can get these medications at a discounted rate, we are able to use that discounted rate and then put it back into our patients so that they can receive affordable health care and affordable medications from our pharmacies.
Well, that's wonderful. And I just as a sidebar, for anybody that's adding comments to what we're doing, please leave any politically charged comments off of the stream and off of the comment section. We want to make sure that we take care of the problem, take care of the focus at hand, which is our pharmacy care. Any political thing is not really accepted or allowed on this podcast. But yeah, getting back to our 340B, and what other programs do our pharmacy offer that can be as a convenience or I call it a blessing to our patients and to our community? There's a lot of them. So can you just give me a rundown on a couple of them?
I sure will. So we are partnered with MUSC to offer colorectal cancer medication preps to patients. So what we do with that is we get the call-ins for the medications. We take those medications, fill them for the patients, but they are at no charge to the patients because the program covers the cost of those medications. So they have access to what can be kind of costly prep medications for a colonoscopy. They can receive them at no cost. We also have a program we call Adherence Initiative. And with that program, we take the savings from the 340B program, put it back into the patient piece, I guess, and help them afford medications, whether it be really, really expensive copay issues, or if you just flat out are having issues paying your copays, regardless of the cost. So with this program, we look at patients with diabetic medications, high blood pressure medications, high cholesterol meds, asthmatic meds, and then I think it's mental health medications, minus controlled substance prescriptions. And if you meet the criteria and are a slide A through D patient of CareSouth will use the extra program income from the 340B program and actually help patients be able to afford those copays at no cost to the patient. Then we also partner with our OTIS agencies, and we offer MAT and substance use disorder prescriptions for our patients at no cost. And that has really been an added benefit, because we all know that this has become a very huge problem now. And so that's been rewarding to be able to help those patients that truly want to do better for themselves. And then obviously we partner with our Care First Foundation and allow patients access to medications at no cost as long as they meet certain criteria. They can get a month's worth of meds free, and that can occur once or twice a year for those patients, while the patient advocates and community health workers work to get insurance coverage or another form of assistance for these patients for their medications.
Okay, I know that there are some boundaries, there are some limits as far as what we can do with the Care First Foundation and the meds. What meds can they not get under that program?
We do not allow controlled substance prescriptions to be paid for by the Care First Foundation, and OTC medication, so over the counter meds. And then if a provider writes for a certain medication and it's an extremely expensive medication, we do work with the provider and with the foundation to see if we can use the medication prescribed, or if there is an alternative that would be cheaper for the patient, but with the same benefits of the originally prescribed medication. So
wonderful. So okay, just suppose I'm on MAT, right? Mm-hmm. Or I'm prescribed multiple opiates for pain or for anything. Do you guys offer a life-saving measure there in every pharmacy that might help me just in case I might need that later for something?
Yes, we do. We actually utilize the prescription monitoring program, which lets us see what the patient's MME is, their morphine, I forgot what it stands for, but a morphine equivalent measure. And so if we have a prescription for naloxone, awesome. But if we don't, we will look at their score. And if we feel the need to contact the provider to see if they'll write a prescription for that, then we will call them and ask that they send a naloxone prescription over, or Narcan prescription over as well.
Oh, wow. Okay, so do a person have to have a prescription for Narcan to get it from the pharmacy?
Well, that's a tricky subject, because for 340B eligibility, we would need the prescription to come from one of our providers, because that way we can utilize the 340B inventory, which would give us a much more, which would be a cheaper method for the patient, for the pharmacy, for the organization itself. However, if that weren't the case and we truly felt they needed it, we do have a separate inventory in the pharmacy that we use for the outside provider prescriptions. Pharmacists are allowed to write prescriptions and dispense Narcan. So if we felt that a patient truly needed it, we would not have to contact the provider. We could issue a prescription at that moment and fill it for the patient.
And that was just something I wanted to clarify so everybody understood how that process works. Of course, our care staff providers have no problem writing a prescription for those in need of Narcan, those at high risk for overdose, or those that have family members that are high risk for overdose. Our providers have no problem writing that prescription because it is our goal and our aim to put Narcan in every hand to save as many lives as we can through that measure. And so we thank our community pharmacy for just having all that stuff on hand so we can make sure that our patients are taken care of. Thank you for, just making sure that we're good and that we can save lives as well as money, right?
You are welcome. You are very welcome.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Ashley, one of the things that a few of the pharmacies have to kind of make things convenient for the patients, I'm talking drive-through. Why was that important for when you were designing the newer pharmacies? Why was that important to have drive-throughs there?
So the main reason was just access. And then you have those patients that have, for some reason, they have an immobility issue, or maybe they have horrible COPD and it's a struggle for them to get out of the car and walk inside of the building. So the drive-through gives them an extra access point to that they can pick up or drop off prescriptions with us. It's all about access. It's all about helping our patients, have a way to get the medications they need at the best possible price that they can get. And so the drive-through was a vision of Miss Ann's when we first started in 2016 with Bishopville, and they happened to be the only pharmacy in that location with a drive-through. So that was a huge, a huge piece, knowing that they were the only drive-through. That just kind of gave us a leg up and, made it a little bit easier for patients to pick up their prescriptions.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Especially right now with everything going on in the age of COVID, it really made making access to and more convenient for patients to be able to access their medicine.
Yeah, I agree. And it might not be the fastest way, but I promise, we are doing our best to move them in and out as quickly as we can. But it has made it somewhat easier and safer, I feel, for employees, for patients, when you do have a location with the drive-through.
Absolutely. And I'm not sure if you mentioned this or not, but you just added another drive-through to the family here recently, right?
We did. We put one in Hartsville at the new building. So that's been challenging.
but prior to that, we were inside the building, and I think it still makes it really, really, really convenient for the patient now that we're away from the building, less traffic in the building, in and out. So I think it's having that free standalone building there in Hartsville now has really freed up some space inside the building and allowed for more convenience for the patient.
Absolutely.
Wow. That's great. That is so great. So you talked about adding 2 more new pharmacies. Where did you say they were going?
Those 2 new ones will be in Chesterfield and then in Dillon.
Okay.
Yeah, because right now the procedure is our office in Dillon, medications are delivered by courier, and patients pick up from the Dillon site, if not from LADA.
That's correct. Our LADA pharmacy location fills medications for our Lakeview office and our Dillon office, and the courier picks them up and then takes them to the Lakeview and Dillon sites where patients can pick up their prescriptions. Now it's next day delivery. Right. So having a location in Dillon will add an extra benefit for those patients, because instead of having to wait next day, they will now have same day access to affordable prescriptions.
So from what I'm hearing about Care South Pharmacy now, I mean, maybe it's just me, maybe I'm biased because I love Care South because I work here, but we're going out our way to make sure our patients get everything that they need, and we're not inconveniencing them. We're moving all barriers. You know, I don't think is there any other pharmacies close by that are making deliveries to another site to make it convenient for a patient to pick up their prescription. So I think that we are leaps and bounds above our competitors and our neighboring pharmacies within our communities. And so I have to give Care South a thumbs up and a kudos and 2 snaps. Right, Marek? There you go.
2 snaps.
Yeah, 2 steps. So
Absolutely.
thank you so much for keeping our pharmacy moving it in the right direction. You know, we're very innovative, we're far advanced, and we still are patient focused and patient need focused. And I love that about it.
And being all together makes it extremely seamless as far as being able to talk to the providers or the nursing staff or behavioral health staff, whomever it may be, if you need a change in something or they've called in something that the insurance doesn't pay for. The accessibility is what is so nice, because what used to take a long time coming from a retail world, what used to seem to take forever trying to get something squared away with the doctor's office, I feel like we can do that very quickly, and the patients don't have to wait. They might not have to come back later. I mean, we can just do it very easy for the patient. Everything is taken off of the patient, and we are able to work with the team to provide the best possible care, have the best outcome for the patient, the most cost-saving outcome. So it's really great that we're all connected together inside of the one building at each of the sites. It just kind of, it's really beneficial for the patients, because I just feel like they literally get everything that they need, from medical care, dental care, pharmacy care, all under one roof. And you don't find that very often anymore. So
yeah.
Well, I have to give a shout out to our pharmacy staff and to our pharmacists, because I was in the pharmacy one day. I go in, and there was a patient there, that got their prescription. They was like, "Oh my God, I don't think I can afford this." And the pharmacist said this: "Well, let me go back and see if I can find something a little cheaper, but the same quality, same value, but just a little cheaper to help you." And they went back and they researched, and they was able to find that patient the same medication, but cheaper, so they can afford it. And the patient left with a smile. And I did too. I was like, man, that's how we do it.
That's right.
That's how it's supposed to be done. It's to help them, because that medication is very, very important. So how can we want our patients to be healthy if they can't afford the medication that's going to keep them healthy? And our pharmacists and our staff in the pharmacy make sure that our patients can afford the medications that our providers prescribe for them. That's a wonderful thing.
I might be biased, but I think we have one of the most amazing pharmacy teams throughout the entire organization. I've not seen one single person not go above and beyond to try and make sure that the patients are taken care of day in and out. So,
well, it's a sad fraud don't praise his own pine. And I know we don't have any sad frauds on this podcast. We praise our pine. We praise our pine. Ribbit.
That's right. It's that integrated system of medicine that Care South practices that makes a difference in a patient. I mean, because every team is kind of interwoven. Like you said, if there's an issue in the pharmacy and they need to talk with the provider in that site, you simply walk down the hallway and be able to talk and have that conversation one-on-one with the provider, or without having to call and get put on hold or have to wait a couple hours till the provider gets free. You have that personal touch and that contact with that provider, and not only just the provider, other teams within the sites. Whether it's community health, whether it's MAT or SUD program, all of those folks are within arm reaches to be able to assist the patient when there's an issue or there's something arises in the pharmacy. So having that integrated system of medicine makes, I call it a one-stop shop that makes a difference, you know?
That's
Yeah.
it. You know, I've seen, I guess because I'm in ladder a lot, and I know all the pharmacies are the same, and all of them are equally, you know, trying to do the best they can for everybody. But I've seen our providers even walk down before they write a prescription to make sure that they can write this prescription that the patient can afford it before they go to the trouble of writing it, and having our pharmacy staff to fill it and then have to rescind that prescription. So having that availability so that even the providers can go down and ask questions before writing it, that don't happen anywhere else. That don't happen many places. You know,
Correct.
I guess we're probably the only place that they can really do that, you know, and that's wonderful. Yeah.
And I forgot to mention earlier too, on top of, you know, having the 340B program, we also offer a 399 medication list. So there are a ton of different classes of medications that patients can get 30 tablets of a certain drug for $3.99 up to a 90 day supply, 90 tablets for $9.99. And so that's made accessible to all of the staff at CareSouth. And a lot of them will call and say, is this on your list? You know, which they have access to it, but sometimes it changes. Sometimes prices inflate, and you know, just the nature of the beast. So they always check with us, wanting to make sure the patients get the best possible care at the cheapest possible price. So I have to give them kudos.
Absolutely. And I could say, I can attest to, because I'm in the AI program, and I can attest to the benefit it's been for me being able to being insured, and then also under the AI program having CareSouth to cover the copay for certain medications there. The savings that you're able to have and put back into your household based on some of the programs that CareSouth has. I can't say no more.
I mean, I think we've had patients before call and say, I didn't even know this program existed. I was seeing your provider and I was going here. And now I've come to you guys and I was spending, I'm just going to throw this number out there. I don't know, but remember the number. I was spending $1,000 a month on my meds. Now I might spend $100 a month thanks to you guys. So it has really, really been an amazing addition to what we can do for our patients. But it has also helped with adherence and compliance, and they haven't had to struggle with, do I pay my bills, do I buy my groceries, or do I get my medications? Now they can do everything and
That's
not
right.
have to sit back and wonder which one should I do. So
That's right. Well, thank you, Ashley, for making that possible and making sure that we have all these programs in place, and that our public and our community and our patients know about these programs. They can participate and save money. You know, you have an awesome staff in every pharmacy that I've been to. The staff has been awesome. You know, and so just thank you guys. Thank you.
no, thank you guys, because without the public entrusting in us and our capabilities to serve them, we wouldn't be here. So, you know, I'm appreciative for everybody that chooses to make CareSouth Carolina and CSC Community Pharmacy their home.
Absolutely. Absolutely. As we look to kind of wrap up, this has been an amazing podcast. This was great information you were able to provide for us today, and we thank you for coming on. We really, 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 really thank you for coming on, because there's some information that needed to get out to folks, so they can kind of go back and look back. For those who didn't get a chance to see us live, they can go back and look at the video, get some of the information, understand some of the programs that CareSouth provides within this pharmacy, and how the pharmacy is able to help them not only improve their health, but also in their lives, being able to improve some things in their household as well. So we thank you for coming on with us today.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys for having me.
Absolutely.
Wait, Marie. Just to give a shout out to a couple of comments. Thank Chris Lane for commenting on our podcast, and also our Mr. Richard Moses, Miss Paula's husband, who's a pharmacist that I think she travels. She's in Atlanta at some point, and he said that his wife is a part of that team. Yes, she is, and she's an awesome pharmacist. And thank you for allowing us to spend time with her during the day, Mr. Richard Moses. Yes, sir.
Absolutely. 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 Thank you, sir. Actually, before we go though, one thing, we like to kind of, we all family. Kearsarge is a family, and we like to know what's not be too intrusive of what goes on in your lives. We like to know what does Ashley like to do when she's not at Kearsarge, being the chief of pharmacy.
Well, I guess the biggest thing that I like to do, obviously, I know everybody says, oh, I like to spend time with my family and my husband and my children. But I'm kind of a homebody. And so just sitting at home, laying on the couch, relaxing, not listening to the phone ringing 1,000 times a day or the emails coming in, I just like to shut it all down and decompress. I would be totally fine in my pajamas all day at my house, just relaxing. So, but when I'm not doing that, we do like to spend time at the lake. My parents have a lake house, but with COVID, that hasn't been as we haven't been able to do that as frequently as we like. But outside of that, that's probably one of the biggest things me and my family love to do. We put the boat in the water and we just ride. So
that sounds good. Nothing wrong with sitting around in your PJs all day chillaxing.
And nothing wrong with being in a lake full of water with fish in it.
That's what I'm trying to tell you.
That's it.
All right. So again, we want to thank you, Ashley, for coming on and blessing us with this great information. And just so folks know, if you want to get in contact with a Kearsarge pharmacy near you, you can look it up on our website. It's www.kearsarge-carolina.com, www.kearsarge-carolina.com, or you can contact us at 866-498-0399, 866-498-0399. And thank you again, Ashley.
thank you. That was fun.
Oh yeah.
All right. And folks, we are out. Next week, you will want to check us out next week. The show next week, we will have some officials from the South Carolina Election Commission on the show next week. So we want to get out some important information about voting in South Carolina. We want to talk about some deadlines that are coming, important deadlines that are coming up. And we want to talk about some safe voting habits to be able to do as we approach November 3rd voting. So again, as Daniel pointed out earlier, we are non-partisan, so the information that we're going to bring to you will not be affiliated with any type of party or anything like that. It's going to be information, broad information that everyone can be able to use, and it's coming from the State South Carolina Election Commission. And again, they're non-partisan, just like us. Okay. All right. So if you have any questions, we're going to be posting the link later on. If you have any questions available, you can post them under that link, or you can post them, send them to the Kearsarge Carolina Facebook page Messenger, and we'll go from there. Or next week when we go live, have your questions already that you want to ask. And remember, it's nonpartisan. We're not accepting any political partisan type questions. Only information questions based on the various deadlines and information from voting for November. Okay. All right. We'll see you next week.
See you next week. Thank you again, Ashley.
Thank y'all. Y'all have a good one.
Do the same.
Absolutely.
Bye.